Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome my Hadith disciples, YouTubers and viewers upon the Sunnah and Athar to another exclusive episode of F.M.F, 5 minutes of Faida. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Amma ba'd. Anyone who grew up in the United States, or other countries as well, but I only grew up in the United States, so I can only speak about my country. We all know what we've heard oftentimes about protecting the environment, saving the environment. Don't use this type of hairspray. Don't throw the plastic bottle into the ocean or the river or the lake. Don't throw this trash here and there because it isn't biodegradable. It's bad for the environment. It will kill the environment. It is our duty, each and every human being, to protect the earth. And some people say Mother Earth. Protect nature, quote unquote. Protect the natural things that Allah Azza wa Jalla has given us. And we know that very seldom, unfortunately, do we hear too many Muslims talking like this. As if protecting the environment, as if keeping the earth safe and keeping it pure and benefiting from the things that Allah has made for us and gave us, as if it's a foreign element or a foreign concept or an alien ideal to al-Islam. And I humbly feel that that's wrong. Okay, the Quran al-Kareem, when you read it, is full of ayat that talk about trees, that talk about green, that talk about mountains, that talk about rivers, that talk about the oceans, the seas, the 7 seas, that talk about the fish, they talk about ants and bees. They talk about wolf is mentioned in the Quran. Wolves, dogs, a carnivorous animal, a big cat. The elephant is mentioned in the Quran. And the list goes on and on and on about things that Allah created and made are being mentioned in the Quran. So this subtly leads us to the concept of being aware of our surroundings, of nature, quote unquote, if a Muslim can even use that word. But we know when we use the word nature or tabi'ah, we're not dealing with a shirk concept. We know, we believe that Allah created these things. So let's take another ayah. Allah says, وَجَعَلْنَا السَّمَاءَ سَقَفًا مَحْفُوظًا. We, Allah says, have made the heavens, as-sama' saqafan. We made the heavens a roof, a canopy, a ceiling, mahfuzan, which is protected. Now it's very interesting ayah here in the Quran. When people talk about using hairspray and certain types of paint or glue or chemicals or car exhaust, train exhaust, truck exhaust, and they talk about what these things are dangerous and what they do to the environment, how they will eventually lead to the destruction of the human being when it comes to the sun's harmful rays. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He said that He made the sama mahfuzan. He made it protected. He made it safe and sound. Now we know that man oftentimes, he destroys what Allah Azza wa Jalla has done. He destroys what Allah has created and made, and he ruins it and he corrupts it. So this ayah, I feel and I believe, among many other ayats, it supports the concept of looking after the natural things that are around us. So just stop here and look at this water. Now you take a drop of water, how much does it weigh? What's the color of water? What's the taste of water? But you take that one drop and you add it to 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 other drops. And you put it in one place, how heavy does it become? Or how dense or what color can the water form? Let alone when you have water that's rushing and pouring like this, violently. That's very turbulent water down there. May Allah protect you, but imagine if you were thrown into that water. And it's not just water falling down, rather there are fallen trees. There's all types of rocks, boulders, and stones down there. It's almost instant death, even if you're an Olympic swimmer. So this goes to show us the power of water. Now, just think about our world today. And think about one of the most terrifying and scary things that can possibly happen to you, and that is a blackout. No power, no electricity. There are many of us who freak out when our phone dies. We freak out when we lose Wi-Fi, when we lose data. when we don't have coverage, when the GPS goes blank, we're out of service, we have a panic attack. Let alone if you have no power at all. Your car won't start up. The battery's dead. Oh man, subhanAllah, where are my jumping cables at? Let me call Ahmed, Abdurrahman, or Kareem to bring me the jumper cables and give me a charge. Or if you're in your house at nighttime and the power goes out and you're washing something or eating something or cooking something or drying your hair or whatever you're using, something with electricity, and the power goes out. It's a blackout. The whole entire neighborhood is black. You get scared. You become afraid. Is someone going to break into my house? Where are my kids? Whatever the case is, you get terrified. And if you ever traveled by air and you've traveled at nighttime, you're high above the ground. And you can see when you're approaching a city or approaching an airport, 100, 1,000 little small lights. And every little small light, that represents somebody's house. That represents a factory. That represents the runway for the airport, etc. So what will humans do today without electricity? What would they do? What would their lives be like? Allah Azza wa Jal, He tells us, عَلَّمَ الْإِنسَانَ مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ, that He has taught man that which man knoweth not. عَلَّمَ الْإِنسَانَ مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ. He has taught man that which man knoweth not. And from that which is included, and what Allah taught man, of which he was previously ignorant, is what we're looking at right now. It's to take this water and to turn it into something else, and to translate it into something else. And that is hydroelectricity. Electricity that's created from rushing water, from pushing water. We know in the mid 1770, the mid 18th century, around 1770, there was a French engineer who wrote an article, or he published a manual on hydroelectricity. And if my memory serves me correctly, I believe his name was Bernard Forrest de Valador. If my memory serves me correctly, you can look it up, you can Google it, the name of the French engineer. And we know that human beings have been using water for power and for industrial mechanisms for centuries, way before the 18th century, whether it be the Sumerians, the Assyrians, the ancient Egyptians, etc. They use water for irrigation. They use water to move certain things, to get rid of certain things, and the power of a waterfall, the concept of a dam, of a reservoir, etc. They've been doing that for years. But around the 18th century, let's say 1770 roughly, certain engineers, they begin to come up with ideas to turn water and to put water against something that could produce something else, and that's electricity. So we have the reservoir, we have the lake, we have the intake gate, and then we have the penstock, and then the water, it goes into the turbine, and the turbine spins and spins and spins even faster and faster with greater momentum and velocity, and then it turns into the generator. And from the generator, we have the close or the distant, the low and the high power lines. And electricity, raw power, juice, is produced from what? From water. Now we know that there are many benefits of hydroelectricity. From those benefits is that it is the only, or at least one of the few, if not the only, renewable source of electricity. It is free. It doesn't come from anything. And it is renewable. Now, we know that if there's a gas plant or a coal plant, it can produce electricity, but it takes water, and it burns water, and it uses water. But a hydroelectric power plant, it takes the water, and it doesn't waste the water. The water can be totally reused. So how much do you get from electricity? I'm making this video right now through electricity. You're going to watch the video on HadithDisciple with electricity. You're going to share with somebody with electricity. Everything that you do in the modern age is based about electricity. You go to sleep, you wake up with an alarm clock, you brush your teeth with an electric toothbrush, you use a toaster, electricity. You get into your car, electricity. You stop at a traffic light, electricity. So look how generous Allah is to man and allowing him to use electricity. And a great source of this electricity is this water. Until the next episode of F.M.F.